Well, that was oh, you guys don't know what I just went through with this thing. Um One of the things that I think just about everyone who does a live depends upon is the Google Slides, right? That is how I do what I do is I use the Google Slides. Well, I've never experienced this before, but the Google Slides went offline. Has that ever happened to anybody? It went offline. So I reset the computer. That wasn't it. And I think it just came back whenever it came back. But wow. Oh, man. I mean, I was literally sitting here panicking. A good thing I had most of everything ready. But the bad thing is, well, could have been, of course, is if it never came back and I couldn't figure out why. So, anyway, that's enough of all that Who Shot John. The point is, it's working, and I hope that it stays that way. So, in the meantime, let me go all the way to the very start and see who was here first. Man, that never happened before. I'm just like sitting up here, like, what the what? Lucy Wynn, thank you so much for being here first. There are no prizes, but I appreciate it. Linda Lala, Annie Bullard, Lydia Washington. Let me see, Elaine Parker. Um, oh yeah, by the way, Annie Bullard wants to say hi to a couple people. And Juliet Holder Fowler, Marcy Foreman, Pomerose, Lottie, Karuna Reina. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to scroll down just to make sure there are no super chats or super stickers. Connie Balmer! But at least there's a Connie Balmer, right? All right, so let's do this. I'm going to scroll through and then get started. I wasn't quite finished, but I got enough done. God, I hate that. You know, guys, sometimes it takes me a month of Sundays to get ready because I always feel like adding a little bit more. So I'm a little frustrated, but we will mutter through somehow, right? Right. Anyway, thank you all for your patience. And let me get my face out of there. Don't need that. So where should I start? I don't know. Happy birthday, Antoinette Kennedy. I managed to get things working in time to make this presentation. Uh, so I hope I spelled your name right. I'm starting to have my doubts, but happy birthday and many happy returns of the day. And of course, we're not done yet. I wanted to wish a very, very special happy birthday to Black Queen. And I figured what better way to celebrate Black Queen's birthday than with a Black Queen. So there you go. Happy birthday, Black Queen. And of course, many, 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 many happy returns of the day. And just to prove that I was actually busy earlier, how about this one? Happy birthday, Joy Amore. That is a J. Yes, Joy Amore, happy birthday to you too. Isn't that beautiful? Yes, Harry's wishing you a happy birthday. So, happy birthday to one and all. Isn't that something? The Black Queen ain't even here, is she? And I went through all that trouble. I was very proud of my work. I mean, check that out. Look at that. That is gorgeous, right? I kind of found this in all of my photos. I didn't even realize I had it, but I was looking for something special for Black Queen, and then that popped up. So I'm like, oh, yes, yes, that is it. Anyway, well, since she's not here, I guess she could watch it on the replay, maybe. Um, all right. Well, it is what it is, right? Okay. Hello, Bright Eyes PB&J, Elaine Parker, Don Palacio. Did I say hi to Marcy Foreman? Cookies and Cream. Uh, yeah, okay. All right. Let me see here. Oh, okay. Hey, Black Queen, happy birthday. Very cool. I see. Well, I hope you like it. I thought about you. I said it's got to be something special for Black Queen. But wait a minute, I wasn't through with that one because then I said, you know what? What if I do this? Huh? Huh? Happy birthday! Happy birthday! It's your vacation. It's a vacation. I really, really love this one. It just kind of jumps out at you. It's almost like you could just reach into the screen. All right, so for the collective birthdays, and listen, guys, don't expect this every day, because sometimes I can be a bit hard to catch up with. But let's see, let's do this. A collective happy birthday. But no worries, though. I will try. I will definitely try to make each birthday special. So let me see if I. Oh, I know what I need to do. We need Ivy, don't we? We can't celebrate a birthday without Ivy. Hello, Ivy here. Okay, let's see. All right. Ivy, can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, all right, all right. Okay. All right, we're good. We're good. All right. And okay, where did it go? Where did it go? Hello, Ivy here. There we go. Hello, Ivy here. Hello, Ivy. Girl, the Duchess of Sussex won. Meet me at the Royal Sussex party. Janelle's gonna be there. All right, Ivy out. You know what? I have not come down from my high yet. As you know, all right, looks like there's a new member. Corliss Lavelle, thank you so much for joining Royal Sussex and happy Monday to you. Thank you very much. And Chef Sandy Love, thank you so much for the super sticker and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Okay. Wow. I am still like shaking from my start. I am still shaking from my start. You guys have no idea. That was the first time that has ever happened. I'm just like, what the what? Oh, man. Okay. Okay. But anyway, we're here. We're together. There's birthdays. And of course, there is the royal update. So Let's get to that. All right. Oh, cool. That's working. Great, great, great. 1 second, 1 second. So, one question though: did anybody find themselves singing that old Martin Luther Cambridge last night? Did that song like stick in your head? If so, you're welcome. If it is kind of stuck to you like glue, you're quite welcome. Oh, and Black Queen has 10 months membership. Congratulations and thank you very much. 10 months membership. That is so cool. Okay, glad I caught that. All right, you guys, I have finally caught my breath and I am ready. Oh man. BW, are you still on vacation? You're on vacation, right? Let me try to remember. Was it Spain? Did we ever find out what part, or did we not want to know for security reasons? Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. All right, so here you go. William or Harry? Now, you guys, I'm reaching back in the past with this one, but because I am petty and superficial, because I love the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and because I hate bullies, I could not help myself but to bring this article back to light. Now, somehow in April of 2018, I missed this article. You know why? Because I was in London on April the 18th, 17th, 2018. Was I? I think so. Yes, that was when my grand tour of Europe started, was in April of 2018. So if I wasn't there, I was on my way. So I wasn't following much of the royal news. So no wonder I missed this. William or Harry, science reveals most handsome prince. Now, who do you guys think won this? Who do you think is considered by the scientific equation to be the most handsome of both princes? Well, I mean, come on, it's not that difficult. I mean, if things weren't what I expected, would I even talk about it? Well, I talk about it, talk about it, talk about it, talk about it. Talk about moving. You gotta move on. Dun, 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 dun. Rick, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Okay, okay, all right. So I'm gonna tell you who won, right? Yes, of course, it's Harry. And when it comes to the two duchesses, can you imagine who won this one? Meghan Markle or Duchess Cambridge? Science reveals the most attractive. Well, I'm not going to keep you in suspense. Uh, Lex says, "Why does Baldy has so much hair?" Well, again, this was 2018. This was 2018. And so they were using some photos that probably predated 2018. So that's probably why. Again, this article is from April 17th, 2018 at 5:22 p.m. Ah, I'm so glad I found this. Somebody posted this yesterday, and of course, I had to run with it. Thank you, Lex, for your super chat. And T. Higgins, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Oh, and by the way, thank you so much for being a member. Very cool. So, there is a scientific way that you can establish what is considered attractive according to science. And what is the golden ratio? Okay, so that is the measurements that they use, the golden ratio. The golden ratio was a mathematical equation devised by the Greeks in an attempt to measure beauty. While the ratio can by applied, it should be can be right, to any or applied to anything, can buy the ratio can buy applied. Oh, well, anyway, and was used by Leonardo da Vinci for the perfect human male body in his famous work, The Vitruvian Man. It is also applied to the human face. The promise behind this is that the closer the ratio of a face, body, or room are to the number 1 by 62, 1.62, the more beautiful it becomes. Oh, do tell. Though it seems complex, these can fairly simple equations. These, it's a lot of typos here, right? To try on yourself. Hmm. For example, the simplest measurement is the length of your face. Now, I kind of feel like somebody is going to violate that one. So, the length of your face. Who might have issues with that? Yes, the length of your face. When it comes to the length of a face, you know what? Please, nobody share this with Camilla Tomini. The length of your face by the width of your mouth. The width of your mouth. Well, let me see. If someone has a big mouth, if someone has a big mouth, well, okay, never mind. Anyway, the width of the lips divided by the length and length of nose divided by the width and other calculations you can try. 20th century artists and architects, including Le Corbusier and Dali, have used the golden ratio. The golden ratio also appears in some patterns in nature, including the spiral arrangement of leaves and other plant parts. Okay, so the golden ratio. So when it comes to the Sussexes and the used to be Cambridges, somehow they just didn't measure up, whereas the Sussexes seem to fit like a hand to the glove, which is not surprising considering, right? Let's see, Takoya Woods, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Monday to you. So there you have it. It is assumed by medical, well, actually, it is a known fact that according to scientific calculations, that the Sussexes are far more attractive than the Cambridges. And because I'm so superficial and petty, I could not pass up this article without sharing it with you, even if it is, what, 5 years old? Sounds new to me. Uh, so let me see. Is there anything that is out of proportion or misaligned or anything? Not where I'm looking. I mean, everybody. What was that song? Everything is beautiful in its own way. Wasn't that the song we used to sing when we were a kid? Everybody's beautiful in their own way. Red, yellow, black, or white. We are precious in His sights. Uh, anyway, so when I saw that article, of course, Royal Sussex. You know what we did, right? We reached out to the newly minted Princess of Wales for a comment, and she said,
Obviously, it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously, to this day, and going forward and things. It is. It's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So, yeah, I do.
"Okay, well, thank you, Your Royal Highness, and thanks for replying to us." That's just what we were expecting. So BW says, yes, here for 16 days, traveling the whole country. Perfect. And you know what? What a coincidence. Because remember, I said I spent 3 weeks on the Iberian Peninsula, right? 2 weeks in Spain and 1 week in Portugal. So, see there, we are connected. We are so connected. 2 weeks in Spain. Now, if you can make it to Zaragoza, it is a train ride away from Zaragoza is in between Madrid and Barcelona. Now, I made the mistake of passing Zaragoza and I didn't realize it was on the way. So I actually took a train back to it and then off to Portugal. I think that's how I did it. But wow, I am so jealous. Spain is beautiful this time of year. Congratulations. Enjoy 24th wedding anniversary trip, I recall. So, yeah, that is fantastic. And thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you for the super chat. See, life is so beautiful. 2 weeks in Spain. That is a good amount of time to see everything. Well, to see certain stuff. If it's on your list, you could do it in 2 weeks. I did. I even saw stuff I wasn't looking for. So, wow, perfection. Okay, now moving on. And then there's Willie. There's William. And of course, according to the golden ratio, he fits right in and out and around and up against and close to, but mostly out of it. But he is somewhat close to the golden ratio. And of course, Royal Sussex didn't reach out to him. We don't give a rat's behind what he got to say. And then, of course, the golden ratio, the good thing about the golden ratio is that it's flexible. You don't even need to filter or use Photoshop or anything. In the golden ratio, there is room for everybody, right? Right. Also, again, because I'm petty, one more Willie, and then we'll move on, right? Right. Okay. And hey Harry, Meghan. See what I mean? There's room for everybody in that golden ratio. Some people are just naturally appealing, right? And then there's other folks. Black Queen, thank you so much for the super sticker. And happy birthday again. Many happy returns of the day. And thank you for being a great moderator and so supportive of Royal Sussex. And by the way, you guys, there was the most beautiful birthday card to Black Queen. I'm sure she saw it already over on Anita of My Duke and I saw that and I was like, that is really, really beautiful. So if you guys get the opportunity, make sure you go over to Anita of My Duke and there's a wonderful birthday card for Black Queen over there. So very nice. Look at how many people love you. That is wonderful, and you deserve it as well. Okay, and then there was this. I'm just being petty and superficial by sharing this, but I don't know how I missed that article, but I'm glad I found it because it confirmed everything that I had felt about the Sussexes anyway. Not to take anything away from the two laziest people on the face of the earth, but the Sussexes work hard and they just happen to be very attractive people. That's all. The light never hits them in the wrong way. The light always agrees with them. So that's not too petty and superficial, is it? Nah, of course not. So just one last lingering look at our faves. What a beautiful night that was. And notice how Meghan has very little makeup on, just a whisper of blush, little lipstick, little eyeliner, and she's good to go, right? Just naturally attractive. All right. So let's get into this story. When I saw this, you guys, I have been pushing back against this for a while. And here we go. Kate's resentment toward Meghan. Princess was denied a final goodbye with the Queen at Balmoral to ensure Duchess was also stayed away. Royal author claims. Yeah. So let me try that again. Princess was denied a final goodbye with the Queen at Balmoral to ensure Duchess also stayed away. Oh, so I guess they're talking about Meghan when they say Duchess also stayed away. Uh, okay, that's weird, but all right. So, all right, here's the thing. We all know that the day that the Queen was slipping away, um, I think, I guess when I woke up that morning, they were already talking about the doctors were concerned and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, wow, it's happening. Now, of course, I don't think most of us were surprised having seen the Queen at the, shaking hands with Liz Truss. So it was obvious that the Queen was in the last days of her life, right? So that day, if you guys recall, it was all about Harry and Meghan. Harry and Meghan were reportedly en route to Balmoral. The plane that landed at Aberdeen Airport was obviously Harry and Meghan, right? And I'm waiting just like everybody else to see Harry and Meghan emerge from this plane, hopefully, so they can get there and be with the Queen as she makes her transition. Well, this is what happened though. It was actually William, Uncle Pennywise, and Ford Fiesta. So William, Sophie, and Ford Fiesta, they they took a Range Rover. I think the weather was bad or something like that, but there was no place for them to land. So they took the Range Rover, which I believe is like a 40-minute drive, and they floored it to get to Balmoral. And I think also was Edward with them? Not Edward. Oh gosh, Andrew. I think Andrew was with them. I think so. The four of them: Andrew, Edward, William, and Uncle Pennywise. No, I mean Sophie. So all they talked about was that it was Harry and Meghan up until that point, which I thought was kind of strange that they didn't mention William, they didn't mention Andrew, and they certainly didn't mention Kate. And so, oddly enough, Kate was not with them. And so then you could hear the disappointment in the voice of the announcer when they realized the Sussexes wasn't on the plane. So then later on, they made this big fuss about Kate stayed with the kids. And then later on, you know how it evolved into, oh, it was for close family only. And Charles did not want Meghan or Kate there. Then it turned into no, didn't want Meghan there. And so I'm not even going to go through that whole thing, but it just every day, actually several times over the next few days, the timetable kept changing. And they tried to make the Sussexes look bad for not being there. When it turns out Charles was outside foraging for mushrooms, the only person by the Queen's side was actually Anne. William didn't make it. Neither did the rest of the people in the car. And so, after trying to make Harry look bad, and I think that lasted for a couple of weeks, like, oh, Harry didn't make it. And of course, Meghan was excluded from coming by Charles. So Harry had to charter a flight to get there, which probably cost like $30,000-$40,000 or something like that, last minute flight to Aberdeen. Well, all of this played out publicly. They were briefing against the Sussexes like crazy. The truth is, Kate didn't want to go to Balmoral. Kate was not interested in going to Balmoral. I don't care what they say. Kate was not interested in going to Balmoral. I believe in the core of my being that she could care less and did not really care for the Queen. Now, if you take a look on the left side, there is the photo of Meghan by herself with Kate mourning because, they want to make her look like she was really distressed by the Queen's passing. And then down at the bottom, notice that there's a photo of Kate and the Queen. And the Queen has her hands up and she's smiling and laughing. But it wasn't like the same smile and fits of giggles that the Queen had with Meghan. So to erase Meghan's memory, to erase her from the time she spent with the Queen, especially in case she comes out with a book. Notice the photos of Meghan and the Queen. Now, those photos are the ones they show all the time when they're talking about Meghan and the Queen. But those photos were not present in the article that you see on the far left side. No, they only have a photo, a rare photo of Kate and the Queen together. And rarer still, the Queen actually having a laugh with Kate. They were not close. I don't care how they try to spin this. Kate and the Queen were not close. I don't think Kate has ever gone to church with the Queen. Sophie has gone, right? But Kate hasn't. Sophie was closer to the Queen. Kate was not. Meghan, in the short time that she was a part of the institution, was very, very fond of the Queen, and the Queen felt the same way about Meghan. No matter how things turned out, I believe that that is the case. So, sorry, I'm moving around here. So it's no wonder that they made sure that they excluded Meghan from the Queen's life by making sure that anytime they do an article about Meghan and the Queen, they are going to make sure that these photos are not included unless they try to say something negative happened on that particular trip. Uh, is it Jasm? 2040. I'm 2040, 2014. Thank you so much for the super sticker and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Monday to you. Let's see. Cookies and Cream says, that nasty, dirty tampon is too stupid to realize that he looks so petty, vindictive, and racist with the vile attacks against the only person of color because she refuses to subject herself to more abuse. Well said, Cookies and Cream. Beverly Isidore says Prince William and Kate were not on good terms at the time, and knowing that Prince Harry will bring his wife Meghan, they called Prince Harry and told him, "Don't bring Meghan because it would tell bad on it would look bad on Prince William." Right? Yeah, I mean, Kate had no intentions of going in the first place. She didn't care for the Queen, and the Queen didn't care for her either. They had a good working relationship, and that was the extent of it. And I'm going to go further into that too. Let me see here. I'm going to go a little bit further into that. The Queen didn't understand a word Mama was saying, and let's see. That's why the Queen was laughing when she was saying. Oh, thank you, Joy Moore, and happy birthday to you. Let me see. What made a difference was the Queen took Meghan on the royal train with her. Kate had not been on the royal train with the Queen at that point. That's when things changed, I believe. Oh, Joyce Bose, let us not forget The Queen didn't meet Kate, I think, for like 5 years. The Queen didn't even meet her for like 5 years. When as well, and of course, before marriage, Meghan is the only royal bride, or no, I'm sorry, the only royal fiance that was allowed to carry out public duties before they were actually wed. Meghan went to the Westminster Abbey for one of those occasions before the wedding. That's the one where she wore the white with the white beret on. So there were a few exceptions for Meghan that were not provided for Kate, and I'm sure that that caused problems. I agree with that. I'm sure that caused problems. So right here you have breaking: Harry and Meghan head to Scotland as Charles, William, and Queen's immediate family gather at her bedside in Balmoral after concerned doctors keep her under medical supervision, meaning that she was probably already gone. Her Majesty was evaluated by her doctors this morning amid increasing concerns for her health. Prince Charles and Camilla are in Scotland and staying just a few something. It cuts off after that. So again, Harry and Meghan, notice how the article starts off. Breaking: Harry and Meghan head to Scotland as Charles, William, and Queen's immediate family. Harry and Meghan, and this is the Daily Fail. You guys, if you were not paying attention that day, trust me when I say this, from the start of the concern for the Queen's health, it was all about where is Harry and Meghan. Now I saved this. I saved this from that day. That is my receipt. I saved it from that day, and I guess it was 8:21 a.m. my time. Um, but I saved it, and it says Harry and Meghan head to Scotland as the appendages show up after that. Charles and William and Queen. You don't even see Kate's name there. You don't even see Kate's name. But they want you to believe that Kate, well, I guess she could have had resentment. I guess she was resentful, right? Because she didn't even matter. Listen, you guys, Kate does not matter to the English press. They don't care what she's talking about. The only thing they ever report is that she's keening to do something and what she's wearing. And that's all that matters. And sometimes they're too embarrassed for her to talk about what she's wearing because it usually is the other way around. It's not Kate wearing the clothes are wearing Kate. All right? Can we be honest here? Katie V, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. And happy Monday to you. Thank you so much. Let me see. Okay, let me get the introduction. I'm not going to look at any more of it because it's been a minute since we had a word from Her Majesty from the great beyond, and we want to make sure that we properly introduce Her Majesty to the collective company. So let me do this. Right? Okay. So, a message from the Queen. Wait, Sean, see, I can't be messing with you. Let me put some lip balm on because you're going to make me split my lip again. Okay. All right. So, I, Queen Elizabeth II, ruler of the United Kingdom, and mortgage on Camilla's time in Buckingham Palace, do hereby declare Camilla is still looking for a green coat. Poor horsey. You're still looking for this green coat. Poor horsey. Your Majesty, if I find out, I will forward that information. Well, actually, I'll let that be our secret. But thank you, Your Majesty, and thank you, Sean, for communicating with Her Majesty. Always a pleasure to hear from her. And also, I will tell her I said thanks for not mentioning 1992, a year that I shan't look back upon with undiluted pleasure. It was a horrible Enos. All right. Thank you so much, Your Majesty, and thank you, Sean. Let's see. Okay. Queen Elizabeth gets on better with Meghan Markle than Kate Middleton, says royal expert. Ingrid Seward. Now, Ingrid Seward, that's the one that kind of, okay, anyway. Ingrid Seward says that. All right. This is someone who is always kind of critical of the Sussexes, not the worst of them, but she's always got something to say about the Sussexes. And she's definitely a royal expert in her terms of being a royal expert. And she even said that Meghan gets on better with the Queen. So why, oh, why are we trying to make it seem like Kate was so distraught and so shaken and so. Now, if you guys remember, William and Kate went to that reception. As a matter of fact, all of them, William, Kate, Sophie, and even Charles, Camilla, they all seem to be enjoying the heck out of that reception. You know, the one they made the big deal about the Sussexes not being invited. They made such a big deal out of that. And there they were smiling and grinning from ear to ear. And Kate and Camilla had the Queen's jewelry on and everything. So why are we trying to rewrite the history? Why are we trying to erase this image of Meghan and the Queen? The Queen was having fits of laughter. There you can see the Queen is just smiling with Kate saying something ironic or whatever. But here the Queen is gesturing, rocking back and forth in her seat. And then, of course, there was the moment when they got into the car and the Queen shared her blanket with Meghan. She said, "Here, Meghan, you can put this over your legs too." She shared a blanket with the Queen. So they obviously are a little nervous that Meghan is going to write a book and talk about her time. Listen, you guys, that is going to be a big deal. When Meghan speaks about her time with the family and the time that she spent with the Queen, and even with Philip, the Zoom calls and such, the waffle iron for Archie, when those conversations are had, it is going to make Kate disappear into the wallpaper. She may as well be a potted ficus tree because she's going to be quite invisible, more so than she is already. It takes a whole team of image consultants to try to make Kate look like a whole, complete person, especially in the shadow of Meghan. And she's always been in Meghan's shadow, always. Even from over 5,000 miles away, Meghan casts her shadow all the way across the ocean on Kate. Anytime Kate does something, they compare it to Meghan. If Kate looks nice, they compare it to Meghan. So the best of anything that Kate can be is always rooted in her mimicking Rachel Meghan Markle, the American actress. And let us not forget also these stories that were floating around for years, like the Queen referring to Prince Workshy and Duchess Doolittle, or how about Kate Middleton was called lazy and unbecoming by Queen Elizabeth before Duchess married Prince William. You know, she was the one, the Queen suggested that she needs to get a job because the Queen was embarrassed for Kate because she didn't work and all she did was hang around William. The Queen could see the lack of ambition, the lack of any intellectual curiosity, and she was afraid for the future. And it seems like her fears were well founded because I promise you, it has taken over 20 years of hanging around that family, and she hasn't moved the dial a bit. She hasn't progressed as a duchess and now a princess. As much as Princess Diana hated public speaking, she at least had people help her so that she could do a better presentation. That has never happened with Kate. Kate just avoids it. Princess Diana leaned into her duty. She had to find her voice and inner strength, and she wanted to make good use of the platform that she had. She wanted to make good use of the time that she had. She even joked about, I don't have anything else to do. And so she leaned into it. But not Kate. She runs from it. Celia says Duchess Meghan had a lot of firsts with queens, and you can bet your bottom dollar that the long knives were out for our Duchess from the time Queen Elizabeth II welcomed her so warmly. Yeah, and of course the press they could not stop talking about this first and that first, this first and that first. Shirley Slaughter says, I'm watching channels like Royalty TV trying to rewrite history by repeating the same misinformation on recycled documentaries. I am reporting them and recommend squaddies to do it too. Make an impact. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. It is necessary because, I mean, you can see the okey doke is playing out right before our eyes. And for whatever reason, they want to try to make this, they don't have enough information, enough footage, enough of anything to try to make this case that Kate and the Queen were close. And if you look right there, the Queen humiliates Kate. Now, of course, I would be a total hypocrite if I didn't point out these are just magazines. They don't know for sure. They weren't there. It's just gossip. But when there is something as serious as quoting the Queen, when there's something as serious as making a portrayal of the future Queen as being lazy, you would think the palace would do something about it. I mean, anything else, they talk about it. Like, for instance, when people started saying, what's up with her face? Did she do something to it? What happened? The palace intervened. When they said she was lazy, well, not lazy, but when they said what was it? She felt trapped. Well, she couldn't possibly be the future queen and feel trapped by her position because Meghan's gone. But that's exactly what was said in the Tatler. And what happened? They got the lawyers out, right? So they couldn't do anything about this because this was briefing from the top. The Queen uttered her frustrations to the courtiers, and the courtiers relayed that information to the royal reporters, to the royal rodents. And obviously, this was briefing to try to get what's her name, Kate, to up her game, to try to shame her into putting forth the effort for this role, this position that she says she wants. But that never happened. Even today, it's hard to get her into a situation where she actually works. We're not going to see Kate until the coronation. We're not going to see her. Maybe the week before the coronation, she will pop up somewhere. But other than that, she and William are both on vacation. They did what, 7, 8 engagements in a month. That was a lot for them. So they are resting and preparing for the coronation. And then after that, we won't see them. Okay, they'll probably work a bit after the coronation, and then they're going to disappear for the summer. I promise you, the royals always take a vacation during the summer. They're probably going to work up until the Trooping the Colors, and then they're gone. They're gonna stay gone until September. That's a nice job to have. That is a nice job to have. Nicole Tanis, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Greatly appreciate it. I'm telling you guys, this is like, they, even though I said yesterday, they seem to be a bit short of royals to provide work for these engagements. The Cambridges put in quite a few hours leading up to the vacation that they went on. And then, of course, with the coronation coming up, they are resting and trying to lean into they're keening for the coronation. And then they're going to work maybe a couple more times, and then they're gone for the summer. They won't be back until September. When the kids go back to school, then they come back. And that's how it goes every year. Because remember, Balmoral, that's Balmoral season in the summer. The Queen would always retreat to Balmoral, and they would usually go up there, and then everybody goes their separate ways. I think that's right. Is that right, Elaine Parker? And there at the bottom it says, Queen Elizabeth does not have an intimate relationship with Kate Middleton, claims royal expert. Of course she doesn't. Kate did not like the Queen, and I'm pretty sure the feeling was mutual. The Queen was pragmatic. She do what's necessary to perpetuate the mystique of the royal family, but it doesn't mean that she was close. Not at all. I mean, at a certain point, she had no choice but to tolerate Camilla. And so when it was obvious that Camilla was there to stay, then of course, when they got married, the Queen had to warm up to her. Let's see. The Queen said Kate was unbecoming because she was constantly showing her front and back parts to the. That is true. That is true. As a matter of fact, even after the wedding, even after they were married, that did not stop. That did not stop. There are so many photos of Kate with her dress flying up in her face or floating across the back of her head. I mean, come on. Okay, so right here, this is what I wanted to show you. Now, why would you wear something like that? As soon as Kate sat down, the skirt crawled up. It crawled straight up. Now, the first outing that she had with the Queen, I wish I would have put the photo in here, but the first outing that Kate had with the Queen, she had on a very conservative, like gray looking tweed like coat dress, and it was well below the knees. This one was right at the knee. And when she sat down, look at where it hits her. Look at where it hits her. Now compare that to Meghan's outfit for their first outing. And let's go back. Look at that. You're not at a cocktail lounge. You're out doing a call with the Queen. If Meghan had wore something like that with the Queen, we would have never heard the end of it. We would have never heard the end of it. But Kate, of course, the English rose, could do no wrong. And so she's sitting up there with her skirt crawling progressively toward her behind, and nobody's got anything to say. Now, of course, this was not the first outing. So the first outing, she decided she'd be very conservative. But as things progressed, look at her. That is disgusting. You are with the head of the Church of England, the head of the armed forces, The court is in her name. The government is in her name. And you're sitting there wearing something that looks like you used to date the wedding groom. Right. Yep. If that was Meghan, we'd never heard the end of it. Kate does fit her mute position for the institution. Actually, Ingrid Sewell suggested Meghan do the same for her privileged position. My God, there's only room for one um, ventriloquist dummy. Yes, and I could hear it. I could hear the echoes of what they were saying at the time because they kept making a big deal about her being a feminist and how will that work in the House of Windsor? How will that work? How will that work with Meghan being a feminist? They wanted her to be a jointed doll. Thank you, by the way, Naomi Maria. They wanted her to be a jointed doll in which you hang rags on it and march it around to events. That's what they wanted was a mannequin. They did not want a person. They wanted a mannequin. And with Kate, that's what they have. That is exactly what they have. And it's hard to feel sympathy for, even though it is kind of sad and pathetic, but it's hard to feel any sympathy because I think we know, or at least we have our suspicions, or some of us just know in our hearts the cruelty that she's capable of. Having been shaped by that institution in such a horrific way yourself, when you see the only person of color, the only person who could really have been a friend and an ally to you, and you join the bandwagon as though you have no agency of your own, you join the bandwagon of chasing Meghan out of the family and Harry with her, which was probably the big shocking part for you is that Harry went with her. And now you're even more alone than you were before. And if you take a look on the right side, this is what amazes me is this. Consider this royal biographer, author of Our King. All of this information comes from a book about the king. All of this information is dripping out because they are serializing the book just in time for the coronation. Robert Jobson's book is serialized. And remember, you guys, I told you when they first released the book, I said if this book has been serialized, which of course it had been, that it was going to be drip, drip, drip up into the coronation. And that's exactly what they're doing. All of this is custom made to shape the narrative in time for the coronation. The only thing that went wrong is that Meghan decided to stay home. If Meghan hadn't decided to stay home, all of this was part of a much larger puzzle that they have been putting together to make sure they get the desired outcome for the coronation. It's not working as well because Meghan has removed herself from the equation. But Meghan showing up was part of it. So now they have to calibrate, or should I say, regroup and figure out how to spin things henceforth to the coronation. Let me see. Oh, that's nice to hear, Baron. I'm also one of Ivy's biggest fans, so I always enjoy your telephone call to Ivy and the celebration. All right. Thank you so much for that, Matilda. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Glad you enjoy it. Hello, Ivy here. Bye for now. Bye from Ivy. Bye. I love that. This is so cute. Okay. So, let me go back here again. So remember, you guys, the whole thing that they're trying to say is that Kate was just upset that she couldn't be with the Queen because she wanted to go, but she didn't want to have to bother with Meghan. And as you can see, the troublemaker, Robert Jobson, his account is suspended. Not suspended, but he closed his account, right? First, he closed it. That's the one on the right side. And then he has a block on the account so that he can continue to conspire with some of his favorite royalists, right? That's the whole reason for that. So Robert Jobson had to do that because of the implied threat, not exactly, but the implied threat against Archie right there. Robert Jobson went on TV to abuse and bully a 3-year-old child. However, he locked his main Twitter account and deactivated his propaganda account. He is afraid of accountability. Well, he got dragged pretty bad. So that was the words of one of the Sussex squad members, one of the squaddies on Twitter that I'm sharing with you right there. So that is where that quote comes from. And it's true. Robert Jobson shut down the account, and he's not taking accountability. He is still appearing on television and such, but otherwise he doesn't want. As a matter of fact, let me play this one again. I think I did it yesterday. Let me play this one again so you can get an idea of where Robert Jobson's head is right now. His tactic to deal with not only the book, but
writing the book about when they try to force that Fab Four thing on us during the Queen's death, that sort of fake walkabout when they're supposed to be together, that Kate said to another member of the royal family that it was one of the hardest things she ever had to do. Now, then immediately on Twitter you get all those Sussex troll idiots saying, well, you need to get out more if that's the hardest thing she ever done. The point of it is that it was a very difficult...
Okay, one more time.
Writing the book about when they try to force that Fab Four thing on us during the Queen's death, that sort of fake walkabout when they're supposed to be together, that Kate said to another member of the royal family that it was one of the hardest things she ever had to do. Now, then immediately on Twitter you get all those Sussex troll idiots saying, well, you need to get out more if that's the hardest thing she ever done. The point of it is that it was a very difficult...
So the English rose, the very fragile, delicate, immaculate heart of Kate the Magnificent, Catherine the Great. The hardest thing that she ever had to do was to do that walk with Meghan. It would appear that the hardest thing was to watch Harry married away from the family, but nope. It was that. So that is the spin that we're getting from Robert Jobson. But do recall, you guys, that this information that has been dripping from the serialization in the Daily Mail is from a book about King Charles III. Not a book about Meghan, not a book about Harry or Kate or William, but the focal point of the book is Charles III. But the only information that we have received about the book has to do with everybody else. Anything but Charles. Now, he's also written a book called Becoming Our King. He's written a book about, I think he's written maybe 5 books about Charles. They don't sell that well, but that's not the point. They're propaganda, and they keep Robert Jobson up to his chins, plural, with food and drink. That's the point of it. It's not to necessarily inform you about Charles or anything about Charles, because he's a public commodity. What is there for us to know? I mean, we've heard the most intimate parts about him pretending to be a female hygiene product. What else do you want to share with us? I think I've seen all of there is to Charles, and I have found him to be wanting in his character. So, what else would you like to share with us? Thank you, Iris. You never disappoint. Okay, so here, um, the British Empire controlled Jamaica for more than 300 years, blah, 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 blah. Let me get to the point. If you think that there was any truth to Kate being close to the Queen, do consider this. They always say the most important thing on the Queen's calendar was the Commonwealth ceremony, right? You know, the one that Kate and William skipped in 2017 so they can go skiing. And then William was photographed with women that were not Kate. Remember that one? Matter of fact, the person who wrote the scathing article about how awful that was Robert Jobson. And Robert Jobson, I suspect, wasn't writing the article because of his conscience. He wrote the article because William's father, Charles III, at the time, the Prince of Wales, probably didn't have the guts or courage to confront William, so he had Robert Jobson do it. Now remember, the royal family brief against one another through the press. And so whatever it is Charles was afraid to say about William to his face, he probably had Robert Jobson do it. And now that we know William is capable of smashing through windows and launching across the room and knocking you across the floor and shattering doggy dishes, it's no wonder Charles prefers to let other people do the talking. I think I understand. So Kate and William were both a party to one of the biggest and most painful humiliations that the Queen has ever faced, and that is the loss of the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth is on the verge of collapse, and the two people who were instrumental in the collapse of this Commonwealth is none other than William the Magnificent and the Immaculate Heart of Katie. I say that they are equally responsible for their part in helping to destroy the Queen's Commonwealth. Now, as they try to make everything that happened to the Queen in her last years about Harry and Meghan, let us remember exactly who caused the Queen pain and anguish on her way out of here. I say it was William and Kate. And here's another one. Keir Starmer wades into the row over royal tour of Caribbean, saying William could have gone further, condemning slavery, and branding decision to ride with Kate in Land Rover used by Queen a bit odd. Well, it's 2022 last year, right? Is that when it happened? Yeah, it is a bit odd. But the art degree graduate and the geography graduate seem to have no clue exactly how tone deaf riding around looking like, a chip off the old empire, looking like the world's finest colonizers, seem to have no clue how that would play in the press. And one of the reasons why they were so clueless is because you have to look at their staff. Now, of course, a lot of these people are gone, but I could promise you the complexion of the Kensington Palace staff has not changed a bit. It's still much like you see here. And these people were the ones that were supposed to give an informed decision about this. Well, they decided. They didn't see anything wrong with it. We are going to go and copycat or capture the spirit, capture the essence of Philip and the Queen in the Caribbean. We're going to turn the clock back to the 1950s or 60s, whatever it was. We're going to turn the clock back. Big mistake. Big mistake. Even though the Sussexes gave you the best example of how to do a modern royal tour when they went to South Africa, something they were roundly praised for, in spite of the fact that things were disintegrating, they were praised for that. But this was a disaster through and through. And then, of course, with their tails between their legs, they slithered onto the plane. William with his head down, Kate trying to mumble some type of words of comfort, and otherwise they made a spectacle of themselves. Prince William and Kate Middleton's disastrous royal tour is proof they need to step up as future of the monarchy. Don't expect much. Don't expect much. And then, of course, losing half the Commonwealth. I know I have to do it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's part of my brand. It's part of the brand. So, I will remind people every chance I get when they try to blame the Sussexes for causing the Queen anguish in her later years. I say not. I blame these two, and not just them. There were others. Like, for instance, Andrew. So today, Elizabeth A. Morris, retired what is that? Government of Canada, something, blah, blah, blah. Damn you, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, for Queen Elizabeth's death, which you help accelerate. You are the charlatans and despicable human beings without 1 ounce of integrity. Huh? Do you think the Queen was thrilled when the reports of this got back to her? Huh? And then, of course, look at Andrew. Whatever happened between the Queen, Harry, and Meghan, it certainly didn't cost the Queen 12 million or more pounds of money. Huh? They're not the ones that can't live next to a school, right? They're not the ones that they block from using the restroom at a shopping mall. Are they? This is the one that really, her favorite child. What are you talking about? Who put you up to it? Is this how you get an invitation to the coronation? This must be about an invitation to the coronation. I can't help but think that. Because now, mind you guys, I saw this floating around the interweb, so I haven't heard her say it out of her mouth. But if she indeed said this, if these are her words, then I say shame on you for accelerating the Queen's death. And what about that one right there? Camilla. How would that apply to Camilla? The woman that the Queen avoided for, how long did the Queen avoid being around Camilla? Was it, let me see, about, was it 10, 20 years, 10 years? The Queen avoided being around Camilla, which is strange because, as you know, the Queen, it has a fondness for horses. And anything that looks like a horse is usually something the Queen is interested in. So you would think that rather than run from her, the Queen would just merely put some carrot slices or sugar cubes in her purse. But no, the Queen wanted nothing to do with her. Nothing. And unfortunately for the Queen, she found herself trapped in a situation where she had no choice but to be cordial with Camilla. And that's because of the line of succession. And of course, the overall success of the royal family. Other than that, the Queen did not want to have anything to do with her. So I think it's rather insulting to pretend otherwise, but the Queen did not have a soft spot for Camilla. She was able to do what was necessary in order to safeguard the future of the royal family and, of course, the monarchy. But there was no love lost between them. So again, they are trying to. As a matter of fact, let us take a look at this one. Take a look at this. So that's how close they were. So when it comes to the anguish, the pain, the acceleration of the loss of the Queen, William, check. Kate, check. Camilla, check. And of course, Charles. I mean, that's the ones that, and Andrew. Let us not forget Andrew, not the Sussexes. I would say those are the people that caused her the most misery. So on the 9th of May, 2013, the Globe, which is the same ones that said that Camilla is defiling the memory of Diana, they're also the same ones who said that I will be queen. And they said that back in 2013. The writing was on the wall that Camilla was after the big title, the big position, and that is to be queen, not princess consort as agreed upon when she and Charles was married, but queen. Interesting. And then here you can see they finally straightened things out because for how long did that last? About 2 years, was it? Ready to rule or whatever. Let's see. The new king, right? King and queen, the mom who will be queen, the next queen, king and queen, the new king and queen, preparing for the throne. Meet the new king and queen, Queen Kate, king and queen. Kate prepares to be queen. royal mom, future queen. Take the throne. Portrait of her. And of course, what is that? Portraits of the future queen. So they had all of this preparation in place so that they can ordain Kate as the queen, only for people to wake up one day and realize, what about the winner of the Triple Crown? You know, she's actually next. And as they said, Camilla has played the long game. She stayed in the background, pulling the strings, making alliances with people in the press. And so the once what was the most hated woman in all of Britain, and still only has a popularity rating according to YouGov of 38%. And I think that's a bit high, even amongst the royalists. But there you go, Queen Camilla. They finally are saying what most people realize, you know, from day one, is that she's going to be queen. So she's queen now. I mean, technically, she is queen. She just haven't had the big ceremony yet, but she will forever be known as Queen Camilla. All right, Coronation weekend, your day by day guide to the planned celebration. It will be a bank holiday weekend like no other, with an opportunity for communities across the nation to come together to celebrate. In other words, that propaganda is hoping that people will finally get excited. I'm telling you guys, everything that is coming out of the media, even here in the US, is to try to help create some air of frenzy and excitement about this coronation. In the National, which is a Scottish newspaper, they say the BBC is determined to paint a picture of enthusiastic royalists. In other words, they want to portray the nation as in a frenzy of celebration, whereas most people say, I'm looking forward to having a day off. Yes, Black Queen. They found they have a finger on the scale, I'm afraid. They do have their finger on the scale. And take a look at this. Take a look at this. This is interesting. Ireland's economy is expected to soar this year, while the UK is projected to flop, right? And that's interesting. And it's also very true. Ireland is outperforming most expectations. But if you look at the bottom there, there is the UK at minus 2%. I'm sorry, the lowest overall performance, I think, in all of Europe is the lowest performer. It is not expected to grow. It is going to shrink by 0.2%. And look at this. Back in 2018, the UK planned exit from the European Union will have a small negative effect on bloc economies, although it will prove more damaging to countries such as Ireland, the Netherlands, and Belgium have a closer link to Britain, the International Monetary Fund said Thursday. So back in 2018, remember, this is before the pandemic, they were predicting that the economy was going to hurt Ireland, Belgium, and the Netherlands worse than Britain, right? And if you take a look at today, 5 years later, it's Britain that is the one that is dragging along. And what's so odd about that is I only just found this by chance. I was actually looking for this, and as I was going through further and further, this popped up. I actually clicked on the link. I'm like, what is that? And that's what I saw, is that they were predicting that Ireland was going to be the ones in the toilet. And also, I wanted to share this with you. Take a look. Some vintage photos of African Americans around 1900 to the 1920s, I think. Wasn't unusual for people to have those open air vehicles even after the what do you call it? Well, anyway, that was not unusual. And of course, this is one of those member only clubs. I don't know the name of the place, but I kind of think this is one of those places where you had to have the right complexion to get in, if you know what I mean. The old brown bag to get through the door. If the back of your hand, what is it? If the inside of your wrist is darker than a paper bag, we won't let you in. That kind of looks like one of those clubs. But look at how much dignity those men had back in those days compared to the way people are today. Look at how they dressed as they walked down the streets of Harlem, wearing their Sunday's best at any given time to go shopping on the high street. Well, I tell you, those were the days. And while I was trying to put together a birthday card for Black Queen, I was going through some of the old things I saved, and I found this. Thomas Blackshear. I don't. I didn't know who the artist was. I had to search for that. But this is called A Common Thread, where you can see an African American, a Native American, an Asian American, and a Caucasian American. So it's just a reminder of how diversified our population is. And then this one, a reminder of the fact that there were so many. I forgot what the percentage was, but there was a large percentage of African Americans that made up the Old West. Most of the cowboys you ever see in the movies, almost as a rule, they were white. But the truth is, there were a lot of Black people that flourished in the Old West and worked as cowboys and cattle ranchers and such. So this is another one of the works by the artist Blackshear, whatever his name is. So anyway, I tell you what, if you want to see some more of his work, Thomas Blackshear, go and look him up. He has some very interesting works, and you can research that. Thomas Blackshear, but these are just the two that I'm sharing. And with that, you guys, I am done. Thank you all so much for watching Royal Sussex. Oh, I don't have a picture of our queens. But yes, thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. I wanted to do a little more, but again, my slides, my Google Slides went out before I could finish, causing me a bit of a panic. And also, let's go back and say happy birthday to the three birthday girls. Let me see. I will go back there. But thank you all so much. You guys in the other time zones that have stayed up. I am done for today. Thank you so much. Thank you all for your generous contributions. And thank you to the Mod Squad for keeping this a safe space. Wouldn't be the same without you. Thank you, Mo Shannon. Please hit the like button on your way out. All right, so let's review those birthday cards, shall we? We'll start here. Oh, there we go. Happy birthday to Antoinette Kennedy. Happy birthday to Black Queen. And again, happy birthday to Joy Amore. And one more time, this is my favorite one. I love this one. The colors just jump out at you. But happy birthday again, Black Queen, who is also a member and a moderator. Or as I like to say, she sings for her supper. But no, thank you so much for that. Thank you for being very supportive to Royal Sussex. All right, you guys, thank you very much. Thank you, Connie Balmer. Thank you for watching Royal Sussex. All right, you guys, I'll be looking for some last comments and, of course, the last word of the day. And we'll try to do the birthday thing again, as long as I get some notice prior to the day. And also, if I remember that you gave me notice prior to the day, that's also a factor because the old people, they used to have a saying, boy, your man ain't long for this world, is it? Not really. Oh man, but yes, thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah, I like that though. I like that. It's very cool. I love that it has that three-dimensional effect, right? Just kind of jumps out at you. And I like this one because Harry's in it. And I love this because it's just so ethnic, right? It's just so regal. Oh, why am I doing that? Let me get back over here. There we go. Uh oh, let's see. Okay, I think we have some. Kai Smith says if you type his name in Google, you'll find all kinds of information about him. He lived to 95 and passed away last May. Thank you so much, Kai Smith. I didn't look that up, but thank you so much. Beautiful work, though, right? You guys, let me give you a suggestion. If you, let's say, if you have a cubicle at your job, I used to have a cubicle at one of my many jobs, and one of the bulletin, they had the little pegboard where you could, pin up projects or lists or whatever. And so the memo board was part of the wall of the cubicle. So what I did was I collected a few postcards. And also, if you've ever been to an art gallery, they give you those sample cards of the artwork that they have for sale or the artwork that they feature. So I would save those. So if you have any photos or pictures or postcards that you saved, places that remind you of a good time or things that make you dream of a vacation, pin those on the board with nothing else. Take all the other stuff off of it, or at least keep a section. I used to call mine, I think it was Gallery 81. I used to call it Gallery 81 because that was the area where I worked. And so, what was so odd is that sometimes I would be at my desk working and I would look over my shoulder and see somebody has just sat down, right? They would come into my cubicle and sit there and just look at the artwork when they needed to relax and escape from other stuff on the floor. And I was like, So, and I only had about maybe 5, 10 things, but it was stuff that I thought was beautiful. And that was like just for that part of the cubicle. So, if you have a space that you need to relax in, it's good to surround yourself with artwork, whether it was expensive or not, it doesn't matter. But if it's beautiful to you, if it makes you feel relaxed, if it reminds you of something or puts you in a certain mood, put it up there. So that's why I like to share artwork with you guys because there's some beautiful works out there, and I find it relaxing for myself, and I hope you do too. Sean says Camilla just appeared somewhere recent and was met with booze. What? Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to look for that. I am gonna have to look for that. Yes, and I'm sure Her Majesty. Yes, I'm assuming she's looking down upon us. I'm assuming she's looking down. I'm sure Her Majesty is looking down and having a good laugh. Right, it is down, right? Yeah, she is looking down at us and having a good laugh. So, yeah, that's good. Anyway, you guys, thank you. As always, thank you for trusting me to do this work. That means a lot to me. And let's hope that that thing doesn't happen again with that Google slide. I'm going to have to work on stuff as soon as I can to make sure that I don't get caught off guard. Maybe it was just a one of, right? It's just a one of. I'm sure it won't happen again. Kind of scary though. Olivia Harris says, thanks, Baron, for the messy. Thanks, Maj, for having our backs. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful conversation in the chat. Got your keys, got your phone, got your flash drive. Okay, bye. Snuggles, thank you. You know what? That sounds like a good last word to me. And with that, you guys, I am going to cue the Ginger Avenger, and I will see you all tomorrow. And of course, thanks to our queens for those beautiful, beautiful kids that have grown up to change the world as we know it. I'm excited. All right. Okay, you guys. Thank you. Love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. And with that, I'm going to cue the Ginger Avenger.